Welcome to Digital Marketing Intelligence Ask the Experts, a live bi-weekly show to help you know what to do and what's new in digital marketing for 2021 and beyond. Ask questions, suggest topics, and grow faster with actionable insights and proven strategies from the world's leading experts. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Digital Marketing Intelligence for Entrepreneurs Ask the Experts. I'm Marissa Morgan. I'll be your show host today, and I'm also the Business Development Manager for Engage. I'll tell you just a little bit more about what Engage is in just a moment, but on behalf of myself and the whole team, I want to welcome you to today's show. Now, we're going to be talking about something today that a lot of people are experiencing. And that is the big changes that we're seeing in B2B sales as a direct result of the pandemic. So today, we're really excited to welcome our guest expert who's going to share with us some of the skills that you need to be successful in these changing times and to really dominate this new world of really what we're calling like virtual sales. She's a LinkedIn expert, and I'll introduce her in just a moment. But if you're joining us, sit back, relax. We've got tons of information and insights coming to you. And I want to remind you to stick around because after today's talk, I will also share our Engage digital marketing news of the week. Now, before we get started, I just want to introduce you to Engage. Now, Engage is a free forever platform that offers you 25 plus tools to help you grow and scale your business. So check out our platform after our show. It's going to be ngagge.com. There you'll find an assortment of tools to help you grow and scale. And most importantly, what we talk about is optimizing the customer experience. That's what our platform is really good at doing. It helps you provide convenience for your customers by allowing you to engage where your customers are. It allows you to build trust by personalizing engagement and product recommendations. And again, our platform right now is free. So check it out. All the tools are there to help you optimize your customer experience. And we truly believe that optimizing your customer experience is what will give you a competitive edge in our highly competitive world. Also, I want you to check out when you have a chance after our show, engagelive.com. What you'll find there is a new program that we just launched about 2 months ago, and it's an opportunity for us to help you produce and broadcast your own live stream show. Our topic next week will be the importance of live streaming. And live streaming is a great way to boost engagement. It's a great way to brand yourself and become an influencer. And our program will help you to do all that by not only providing you a show strategy, but also giving you access to streaming software, even a show moderator, repurposed video, and of course, some analytics to see how your show stacked up. So check out Engage Live, Ngagge live.com after today's show as well for more information about our program. Okay, kids, it's time. Without further ado, I want to introduce you to today's guest. She is joining us live right now from Colorado, and I absolutely love her name. Viveka Von Rosen is our guest today. She's laughing. Viveka Von Rosen. If you don't know who Viveka is, you need to. Viveka Von Rosen is the co-founder of Vengreso, which is the largest provider of full-spectrum modern digital sales transformation solutions. She's kind of a big deal. She's known as the LinkedIn expert and the author of the best-selling LinkedIn Marketing An Hour a Day, and as we see in her background, 101 Ways to Rock LinkedIn. She's been named in Forbes 4 years and running here as a top social media expert and is a regular contributor and has been featured in Forbes, BuzzFeed, Inc., CNN, Entrepreneur, Selling Power, and very recently, the Social Media Examiner. Her business mission is to help sales professionals and business owners create more quality and qualified conversations on LinkedIn. Fun fact, when she's not doing that, she's either diving or hang gliding or hiking the trails near her Colorado home. She says basically she loves to be wherever there's no cell reception. Well, we're glad you have cell reception today to join us for our live show. Viveka, welcome to Digital Marketing Intelligence. Thank you for being our expert.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm thrilled to be here. I notice I'm disappearing in the background here.
Oh, it's that pretty
I
blonde
love
hair.
green screens. We could talk about that too.
Oh, we should. That'll be fun. Well, you know what? You're disappearing into the screen, but we hear you perfectly. And we've got, people listening on our podcast. So if you can't see it because you're listening to the podcast version, Viveka's got a really cool green screen. It has this beautiful view of Colorado mountains and the title of one of her books, 101 Ways to Rock LinkedIn. So we'll get to that. We're going to learn how to rock LinkedIn and how to really navigate the changing world, right? That has happened because of the pandemic. But before we do that, Viveka, do you want to just tell us a little bit, a quick 2-minute Cliff Notes, backstory about what got you so excited about LinkedIn and where you started and how you've now kind of transformed into the LinkedIn expert? We'd love to hear a little backstory about that.
Yeah, well, the real short answer is I got the Twitter handle. And so it kind of took off from there. But realistically, I was running a co-share space back in 2005, 2006. And I brought in someone to speak about Web 2.0, because that just shows you how long ago it was. The fact that the internet was interactive was like a big deal. At the very end of her presentation, she mentioned this thing called LinkedIn. And I thought, oh, wow, I think there was it was either 7 or 12 million members at the time. I think it was 12 million members at the time. And I was like, oh, wow, we had obviously virtual element to our company even back then. I thought, oh, that's so cool. I can potentially have 12 million customers. Needless to say, that didn't happen. But fast forward, I can't do math, 16 years and, 725 million users on LinkedIn. Hopefully everyone in the business world at least knows what it is. A lot of times back then I had to educate people as to what LinkedIn and social media even was. So yeah, it's been quite a journey. I've had my own company. And then of course we started Vengresso 4.5 years ago. So it's been a wild ride.
I think that's really neat to have you on as a guest because you first-handedly, I think that's the word, you've seen the transformation and you've seen LinkedIn go from 12 million users to how many right now?
I think 725 or 45, somewhere in there was the last number I saw.
So you've not only moved and changed and shifted and pivoted as LinkedIn has changed, but I'm sure you've seen so many incredible changes in the digital marketing world as well.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't even such a thing as social selling, right? That only popped up about like 5-6 years ago. People started talking. It was social networking and social media and social media marketing. And so it's even the nomenclature has changed since then. And needless to say, LinkedIn itself has slowly adopted to a lot of the other features that other socials have had, like live streaming, for example. LinkedIn is a little bit conservative, but eventually it gets there.
Well, we're really excited for you to be here because we're talking about B2B sales, more specifically, and we're talking about how things have changed due to the pandemic. And one thing I'd like to share with our viewers is a slide, and I will read through it for those of you listening on the audio podcast replay. But what we're seeing is a lot of changes, a lot of trends, and we'll start here with a few trends from a global management consulting firm. And I'll read through these, and then maybe Viveka will just talk about these, and then we'll talk about how to adapt and how to change and how to take all of this information and make it useful.
Sounds
Perfect.
good.
So McKinsey and Company, how B2B sales have changed during COVID. This is from a July 14th, 2020 article. So digital is now an essential means of doing business, Both sellers and customers prefer video conferencing and live chat to phone. I think that's a crazy thing we have to talk about.
Yeah.
I also think texting now is even more, preferred to a phone call. People just don't want to have phone calls. The shift, right, to virtual sales will help sales organizations lower their cost per visit, extend their reach, and significantly improve sales effectiveness. And then also, B2B leaders that commit to further digitizing their go to market models should derive competitive advantage in the form of more and more loyal customers and their slower moving peers. Now, this is really fun. While I'm reading this to you, talk about pivoting and adapting and
I was
making
trying to
things
be
work.
quiet.
Because, like, this darn green screen, like,
It
I'm
was really
disappearing.
distracting.
It's okay. You know what? I can see you better like that. So hey, let's call it like it is. This is pivoting on the fly. This is being reactionary, proactionary versus reactionary. So I love it. So
Yeah. Go ahead.
let's talk about this first idea that, obviously being digital is essential. If you're still I don't know, using spreadsheets maybe, and, thinking that just emails, only, or maybe just even having a
Or phone
website if that's
calls or yeah.
yes, or cold, or even someone
Being
came to my door
analog.
the other day. Yeah, someone came to my door the other day and I was in the yard watering a plant.
Yeah.
And so she caught me. I couldn't not
Yeah.
answer the door.
Yeah.
And I said, "Are you really going door to door?" Like, she looked at
Yeah.
me like, da, 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 da. I said, wait, is this happening? Really? In today's world, which I think a lot of people don't even feel safe to go door to door.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. No kidding.
yeah. So let's talk about, you're the expert. So I'm going to really let you lead today's talk, but let's talk about just this idea of why digital is so important.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny because in a way, if you can add analog elements like going door to door, it now that's what differentiates you. Everyone's doing digital, and being analog is what differentiates you. But I love that. There's a whole article by McKinsey. And the other really interesting thing that they talked about, and again, this is a year ago, but they did a survey, and most B2B buyers we're like, yeah, we're good with this. We're good with this virtual selling. We're good with people not showing up at our doors, right? We're good with people not doing site visits all the time. We're good with not having to go to conferences and trade shows all the time, all the analog stuff. We're good with this digital world. And so a lot of companies, when COVID happened, we're like, okay, you have to get on LinkedIn. Um, without giving any kind of like direction, how do you need to be on LinkedIn? And then they were kind of like, and then when we get back to the office, it'll go back to life as usual. Well, I think we all know we're not getting back to life as normal. We are getting back to analog. We are getting back to, conferences, trade shows, site visits, people going door to door in some cases. But there is going to be an element of virtual selling. I think from now on, a lot of companies are, a lot of employees are even going, I'm not going to come back to work for you if you make me go back to the office, at least if you make me go back to the office full time. I like being the digital nomad. I like being able to work out of my home in Colorado or go to my place in Costa Rica or, go on vacation in Belize and be able to, well, okay, who takes vacation, but be able to work from wherever I am. And it's interesting. I did an interview last week, I think it was, and we were talking about this, the great exodus and the fact that 95 that's insane to me. I'm like, did you check your numbers? 95% of employees are thinking about or have considered either going off and starting their own thing or changing companies or staying with a company, but only if they can work digitally. 95, the great exodus. And so companies have to realize like this virtual selling, the ability to stay at your home office or go wherever you want, quite frankly, and still do the work is staying. So we need to learn and we need to teach our employees how to do that more effectively. And it's not just going to be on marketing's shoulders, because that's what a lot of people are saying. Well, marketing can deal with that. Marketing can deal with all of the getting the awareness out there and driving the leads home. No, sales has to be involved in what marketing used to do. as much as marketing needs to be, and we can break that down what I'm talking about. But that division between marketing and sales, that's the other thing that's really collapsed during the pandemic, and people realizing they have to get online. So we could deep dive into all of that.
Yeah, well, I think you touched on something that is a key driving point to this too. It's people are realizing you can still have a human connection through digital.
Exactly.
And I think in the past, we weren't forced to do these Zooms. We weren't forced to
Right.
live stream, right? We weren't
Yeah.
forced to, so therefore we said, no.
Not gonna do
That's
it.
yeah, yeah. I'm not talking to someone through a screen. That's
Yeah.
weird. Well, now we're forced to do it, and so we're going, wow, it's true. Seeing somebody's facial expressions when you have a conversation through the
Yeah.
screen is so much more effective than, oh my God, like, like a phone call, but also this whole change too with people saying it's not the work life balance, it's the life
Yeah.
work balance. And
Yes.
yeah, if someone can do their job effectively, um, in a way that's timely, in a way that
Yeah.
works for them and gets the job done and the product
Yeah.
is there, but they can still sneak away for their son's baseball game at 4
Yes.
p.m. because they're working from home. Don't you
Exactly.
want that employee versus the disgruntled employee who's tired from the hour-long commute, right? Coming
Yeah.
into the office, haven't had time for breakfast, grumpy because they're missing their son's
Yeah.
baseball game, whatever, whatever. So I think this shift is not only, as you mentioned, it's changing the way companies work and handle their employees, but then, of course, it's changing the way companies do business as well. So,
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
no.
And yeah, and if you think about, I mean, commuting, my commute now is like, maybe 3 to 4 seconds down downstairs to my office, unless I'm going to Costa Rica, and then it's like 8 hours. But, it's
Yeah.
but all of that time where, and the other thing about it is some of us work better in the evening, some of us work better in the morning. As long as you get your work done, don't you, to your point, don't you want your employees to be the most effective they can be? And if they work better rolling out of bed at 5 a.m. doing their workout and starting their work and working from 6 till 2 or 6 a.m. till 2, wouldn't you want them to do that if they're producing more? Now, obviously, in the case where you've got Zoom meetings and you have to meet with a client either virtually or in real life, you need to make those appointments. But
Right.
for the rest of the time, like, why wouldn't you want your employee to work as effectively as possible when they can?
I agree. I agree. And that's really changed the way that, like I said, and I even think
Yeah.
too with the unemployment situation, right?
Yeah.
We all know things soon are going to be probably ending, right? And so
Yep.
there's going to be a huge overflow of people probably trying to return to the workplace who
Exactly.
have no other choice. If you're smart, you're out there looking for a job now.
Yes,
Keep that
right
in mind. Do
now.
not wait until September because, oh my goodness. But um, I don't know. I think the whole world's kind of in for a rude awakening with
Yeah,
that. But companies also are still struggling to find, right, people who want to,
exactly.
like you said, go to the office. Well,
But that's the other cool thing is now
yeah.
companies are not limited to, within 20 to 30 square miles of their office building. Like
Mhm.
at Vangresso, half of our employee base is in Bogota or Medellin, Colombia. The leadership is all over the US. And so why would you want to limit yourself to just a small geography, provided you don't have a business that has to have that physical presence? Obviously hairdressers, you
Yeah.
know
I say
manicures.
hairdressers, nail techs,
Exactly, nail
um,
techs.
landscapers have to be someplace.
Exactly. Exactly.
Waiters, people in the service industry have to be
Yeah.
someplace. But if you're a consultant, if
Yeah.
you are a marketing guru, somebody like with your
Yeah.
digital marketing company, if you are even like me, I mean, the word virtual host never existed until last
Right.
year.
Yeah.
I was a TV host, and now I'm like, no,
Yes.
I'm a TV media and virtual host, right?
Yeah.
I'll host an event virtually. It's pretty cool.
Exactly.
But let's dive in then. Gosh, I feel like I could talk to you all day, Vivica. You're so fun. Let's dive um, into how companies, right, I
Yeah.
guess, can start to be pro-actionary, right?
Yeah,
Versus obviously we are
exactly.
being reactionary, but
Yeah.
what we can do
Pro-action,
then
I
to
like that.
maintain this competitive advantage, I'm sure there are companies and businesses and industries out there that are still like, like, do I
Yeah.
have to do it?
Yeah.
So, how can we get the competitive advantage? What can we do? Let's talk about virtual selling and let's talk
Sure.
about, I mean, there's so much, but
There's so much. We'll just
yeah.
kind of start at the very beginning. We literally have 6 phases, so we'll just move right through them. So the
Okay.
first is what we have been talking about is mindset. You know, the POCs at the individuals who have stake in the game at the company, whether it's head of marketing, head of sales, head of the company, they have to understand much of what we've already been talking about. Like, this is here to stay. Virtual selling, virtual marketing, virtual whatever you want to call it, virtual transformation. It's here to stay. It's not going away. So they have to get that mindset. And then they have to understand that with virtual selling, there is a blending between sales and marketing. So, you know, if sales and marketing like hated each other and never talked to each other, they need to get over it. They need to come together in a kumbaya moment and realize that support is going to be needed if the company is going to be successful. So that mindset, and then getting your employees on board. Like, listen, I know you hate the webcam. I know you hate the camera. I know you'd much rather go play tennis or golf with your prospect or with your client. But for a while, things are going to change. And by the way, here's a stat, here's a stat, here's a stat, here's a stat about, you know, how much more successful companies and individuals that employ social selling are compared to their colleagues who don't. So you need to get that mindset initially, or you just won't have the buy-in. But once you've got that mindset, and let's just assume everyone on the call or listening to the podcast or who's on the live has that mindset because you're here right now. Once you've got that mindset, then the next thing is making sure that your digital brand is aligned and strong. So obviously we talk about LinkedIn because we're very much focused on B2B. But you know, if your prospects and your clients are are on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or Clubhouse or wherever they are, or Twitter, then you want to do this on that platform. Or if they're in all of them, then you want to do it across the platform. But you want to make sure that your digital brand is strong. Now on LinkedIn, that means not just your company page, because a lot of companies will go like, well, we've got a company page, we're good. But what they don't realize is their employees, especially their customer facing employees, they might have an old company still on their profile. Their profiles almost definitely look like resumes, not resources for the buyer. They might have like quota crushing sales guy. We worked with a company who I won't name, but they were in this space. They were in digital sales, digital marketing space. And so when we were first prospecting them, they're kind of like, yeah, we're good. We got this. So we're like, okay, cool. But just so you know, we just did a search on your company and we sorted by sales, and the top 3 salespeople to show up at your company. One guy, no lie, had a skull and crossbones background image.
Stop.
I am not even, I wish I was kidding.
Oh,
The other person had a barely there resume type profile that talked about, quota crushing sales dude, President's Club. Like, oh, that I do not want to be sold to by that person. And the other one apparently still worked at Google. So according to still worked at Google. So we're like, okay, we know you're, gurus in this industry, but just so you know, this is how your salespeople are showing up. So we ended up working with them.
and I just want to interrupt you for 1
Yeah.
second because I was taught very long ago,
Yeah.
perception is reality. How
Mhm.
you are perceived and what someone sees, especially with that first impression. We all know you
Yes.
get one chance to make a good first impression.
Exactly.
We get notified whenever someone looks at our LinkedIn profile, right?
Yes.
So most of the time they look and they connect or they don't connect, or they move
Yeah.
on or they don't, or they message you or they don't. They very rarely come back around and look again, if you notice.
That's
Right?
exactly
So you have
100%
that
right.
one chance to make an impression, that one
Yeah.
chance to wow somebody. Again, not with a resume, but
Right.
what you can do for them and how you can solve their pain points.
Yeah, 100%. LinkedIn actually did some research, and 75% of your prospects are actually researching you on LinkedIn. And so,
Mm.
yeah, to your point. And if you Google my name, Vivica Von Rosen, or if you Google your own name, chances are your LinkedIn profile is, somewhere on that first page.
Yeah.
And usually it's the first or second thing that shows up. And just think about it. If your buyer, your modern buyer, your B2B modern buyer who is savvy in the way of all things online, and they're Googling you and your LinkedIn profile shows up, like, go ahead and do it right now. Google yourself. See if your LinkedIn profile is one of the first things that shows up, and then click through to it. Would you buy from yourself right now? And be honest. Be honest. Would you buy from yourself right now? Is your LinkedIn profile, to Marissa's point, more of a resume? I did this and I did this and I did this. When me as a buyer, I'm going to your profile. Do I think you're looking for a job? And if you're looking for a job, I don't want to buy from you because I want us to be in a committed relationship. I want you to be by my side and my trusted advocate as I move through the buyer's journey. If I think you're looking for a job, I'm going to move on to the next person. And so if you can create a profile that's more of a resource to your buyer, now they're a lot more likely to stick on your profile and follow through and engage with you. And that's where we start going, you start hearing or getting pushback from the sellers like, well, that's marketing, right? My LinkedIn profile is mine, and maybe it is a resume, and maybe I am looking for a job. Why should I be doing marketing's job? Well, there is no right or wrong. There's no, unfortunately, it's just the way it is, the way LinkedIn shows up in the world and the way that your profile is going to show up when your buyers do searches. We can't enforce, even if we throw, thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of SEO dollars at it, we can't guarantee that that your company's website is what's going to show up when someone searches on your name. It's going to be LinkedIn. So do that. Google yourself. Take a look at your profile. Would you buy from yourself? And then let's talk about what we can do to make sure that your profile is more of a resource to your audience rather than a resume. So the first thing is hit up your marketing team for a background image. Or if you have your own company and you're listening in right now and you don't have a marketing team, there's lots of resources out there for you to go and get either free background images or have someone design background images. And if you're live on all the socials, then make sure that those background images align, at least as far as your style sheet, at least as far as logos, colors, fonts, etc. Now we're at Vengresso, we're doing a whole rebrand. So we're going to be creating background images, multiple background images for multiple socials. And we're going to let our employees choose, like, okay, do you like orange? Do you like blue? Do you like yellow? And we'll have those options available, but it will all be on brand and on message. So that's number one. Make sure that you've got that background image, and then make sure that all your employees are adding them to their profiles. And you might have 5 employees, you might have 40 employees, you might have 4,000 employees. If the person with 5 employees or 40 employees gets all of their employees engaged and into that LinkedIn branding, you're going to look bigger than the company that's got, 4,000 employees, but only 1% actually putting anything up there. And so make sure that you've got those background images and that it matches your company page image and then it matches your Facebook and your Twitter, etc. That branding is huge. Now, the pushback we always get is it's my profile. I don't have to do it. And that's true. Your employees own their profile and they don't have to add anything you ask them to. And it's really right. A rising tide floats all boats. You're co-branding with the company, or just let the employee know that they're co-branding with you. And the more that they do that, the more they're going to succeed, the more the company succeed, the more they're going to have a job tomorrow. So even if they're not in sales, even if they're not in marketing, even if they're not customer success, you want to get all of your employees with that strong visual branding.
That's all very good and really good insights, because that was a weird sentence. That's all very good. But I'm just thinking, because I was like 10 steps ahead in my brain. We recently did a 5-part series for our Engage News of the Week, sharing tips for the company page, right?
Yes.
How to get more boost engagement on your company page. And one of the tips we shared was really featuring your employees, right? Getting them excited
Absolutely.
about posting and tagging the company. And
Yes.
that whole being consistent with the branding, the logo, and all of that, because then you you jive, right,
Yeah. Yes.
as a team, really, and
Yeah.
it's like having when you first got on Facebook and you started first getting your first, like,
Yeah.
friends, right? You
Yes.
become this cool spider web network and a team. Christopher just joined us, and he commented, this is great. He said, "Companies can incentivize branding
Yes.
profiles," and that's true because it's almost like the
100%.
team spirit award. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It shows,
Yeah.
like, "I've got spirit. How about you?" You know,
Yeah.
like, "I'm a part of this
Woo.
company, and I'm excited." Christopher, that's actually a really great idea is to incentivize your employees.
Yep.
I know, I worked at a shopping network here in Minnesota as a host, before the pandemic,
Yeah.
and they expected us to be posting
Yeah.
on our personal social media,
Yep.
right, about our shows coming up, and, did that make sense necessarily for my demographic? Maybe wasn't who would shop, right?
Right.
But, in general, they
Someone
want
might have. Someone might
yeah,
have seen
someone
it,
might
and
be like, "Yeah, I
because
need some rain boots.
yeah,
I'll tune in at 2 p.m., right? And buy
exactly.
some little rubber ducky rain boots or something." But, in their mind, I think it also, rightfully so, showed like a positive company alignment in
Yeah.
terms of being proud where you work, wanting to share
Yeah.
it with your friends and your network, etc. So there
Yeah.
is something to be said about being, you know, just
That
up.
employee advocacy, getting that, yeah. So there's 3 rabbit holes I wanna go down. So the first one is Christopher's 100% right. Like, if getting more pipeline and making more sales is not incentive enough, or maybe you're not in sales, so that means nothing to you. Yeah, incentivize them with, it could be company swag. It could be a trip to Hawaii. It could be, an Amazon gift card, and we've seen them all. We highly recommend to our points of contact, the leadership that hires us, that they incentivize the learners, in some way, shape, or form. Because you'd be surprised, $250, it's just not that much money,
Right.
but you get someone. It's not even about the money. You get people who are competitive, and salespeople are competitive, and they want to win that $250, and they are going to go nuts in order to get that
Agreed.
250.
Girl, one time, I worked at a company and they gave everybody a free turkey at Thanksgiving,
Yeah,
okay? Just as a holiday thank you, and it was like a
yeah,
gift card, you brought it to the grocery store, and you got a free, like, 15-pound turkey, or I don't even
yeah,
know. It is the littlest thing, and yes,
yeah,
I'm sure 400 turkeys, added up,
yeah,
but they
yeah,
said, "Okay, we can't do a $100 gift card, or we can't do this, but what can
yeah,
we do?" And that just brought together the team, that brought together the
yeah,
company, the employees felt appreciated. And as we've talked about this big
exactly.
shift where people are leaving their jobs because they don't feel appreciated,
Yes, yeah.
incentivizing your employees is huge. By the way, Christopher also suggested maybe creating company specific profiles.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and that's what I'm talking about. So we'll get into employee advocacy. Remind me to talk about that, because LinkedIn
Okay.
actually has a new employee advocacy tool that it's built into its company pages. But
Okay.
Christopher brings me back to the road I wanted to go down anyway. Yeah, 100%. You want your employees' LinkedIn profiles to reflect the company, but you can't just say, which a lot of people did. Okay, get on LinkedIn. I'm not frozen right now. That's like all they did. It's like, okay, you got to get on LinkedIn. And then the
Mhm.
people are like,
And
okay,
do
and
what?
what?
Right.
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 And even though LinkedIn kind of gives you some guidelines, they don't do a really good job, which is whew, why we have a business. So background images, first of all, make it easy for your employees. Build a template. We build with our clients, we build whole workbooks for them, areas that they can customize, areas that they can copy and paste. We show them different ways of doing things. They can go with the way we recommend. They can do their own thing. It really just depends on, their geography, their vertical, whatever. And so you want to make it as easy as possible. And to Christopher's point, you want company advocacy on your personal profiles. So background images. The other thing is your photo. You want your photo to look like you do now, because we are jumping on Zoom. A lot of people relied
Mm.
on phone calls before, right? And
Right.
so you don't usually FaceTime a new prospect on your phone, so they didn't see what you looked like. So it was okay, to go with the 20, 25-year-old photo where you were younger. You didn't
And you
necessarily
had
look
on the
better.
double-breasted
And you
suit
had on a
jacket, right?
double-breasted suit, and
I
exactly.
watched American Psycho last
Yeah.
night, and I'd never seen it before, and I was like, "This fashion's incredible." But it's true, and
Yeah.
people, well, we can talk about this later, but,
Yeah.
there's also just differences too in how much people care about how they look
Yeah.
too with, like,
Yeah.
these Zoom meetings, and that's a whole
Yeah.
'nother topic,
That's a
but
whole but to your point,
yeah.
a lot of people, especially in B2B companies, had the kind of stick up your rear end type look. And let's face it, where a lot of people on Zoom, if we're even dressed from the waist up, if we even have done our hair or done our makeup. Oh my God, thank goodness Zoom does makeup now. But because there's
Wait,
been time. Oh
what?
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Is
Zoom
there's a
has
feature okay, we're gonna have a whole
it'll do your
tutorial on that.
lipstick, it'll do
I
your
do
brows,
I do so many
it'll do
Zooms
your
when
facial hair.
when I talk to guests. So, okay, that's a whole nother tutorial. That'll be our second Engage News of the week
That'll
for
be
today. We're gonna learn how to do our makeup on Zoom. Steve, if you're
and trim your
listening,
beard, trim your goatee. So, and a lot, so a lot of guys have got facial hair now that they're not forced to go into the office where there's a dress code. A lot of women have let their hair grow, or it's a different color now. It's natural color, or whatever. And so you want to look like your photo. I'm sorry, yeah, you want to look like you actually look like, because two reasons. First of all, a lot of sales folks are jumping on Zoom and turn the damn camera on. And then we can go off that diatribe too. But the other thing is LinkedIn has a really cool new feature called video cover stories, which you can only get on your mobile device. So when you go to your LinkedIn profile on your mobile device, you'll see there's like an orange plus sign, and that allows you to do a 30-second video. 30 seconds telling people who you are, who you
I
help,
see
how
it. I
you help
haven't
them.
done that yet.
Yes, yes. So if you go to mine, you'll see it. Once you've got it, you'll
I've
see it on
seen
other
yours.
people's.
Yeah.
And yeah, you'll see it. It's like a picture of me, and then I start talking. Now I did that on purpose. I have a much better picture of myself. I actually did a photo shoot because I'm one of the few people who actually lost weight. I went into like a whole fitness regime when COVID hit because I wasn't traveling all the time. I wasn't eating restaurant food all the time. I actually, to your point, had time to do exercise because I wasn't commuting. And so I actually lost a little weight. So I got a whole new photo shoot done. So I have much better photos that I could put on LinkedIn. But to walk my talk, I just literally took a screenshot of myself in front of my green screen, and then I shot the video. You want to shoot it vertically. I shot the video, and then truth be told, I did like 18 times. But then I uploaded it because for me, keeping it to 30 seconds, I was always like 31 seconds. I'm like, so, and the first 3 seconds show. So you've got this movement all of a sudden. So for people who are relying on LinkedIn, it was black. Well, it's not black and white, but it was still, it wasn't interactive. People didn't get the sense of who you were. But now they're going to see you move. They're going to know that there's a video there. And now they get to see you and hear you. And my friend John Jantz, who just wrote a new book, it's instead of the buyer's journey, which is usually people have it a flat line. We usually have a circle. He's got the buyer's journey as a what am I trying? I'm like, as a sexy lady. No, as a hourglass. That's what I was trying to say. And so know, like, trust, a lot of us do the know, like, trust. So that's good. And we can talk about that. But video does a lot towards moving them from know to like to trust to try. I love that. To try to buy and then repeat and refer. And so having that video baked into your LinkedIn profile gets them from know, because they found you on Google, they know you. It moves them into like, which simply means they kind of align with you. They jive with you. Basically, you're not turning them off. And by the way, if your video turns them off, then you probably don't want to work with them anyway, because if your video turns them off, then your real life is going to turn them off. And do you want to work with someone who's like, doesn't want to work with you because they don't like your voice? Or no, you don't. So don't even worry about
Right.
it. But
Right.
it's going to attract a lot more people to you who jive with you. So that's the know, like, trust. And then we'll talk about the rest later. But to back up, we've got the background image. We've got a picture that looks like you. If you're into it, go to your phones right now, go to your profile, see if you've got that orange plus sign. Don't shoot the video because we want you to pay attention to us for the next 20 minutes. But shoot the video after, do that 30-second video commercial. Then the other thing you'll notice on your phone only is you have an opportunity to do its name pronunciation. But to me, it's a 10-second elevator speech. So you do pronounce your name, especially if you've got a name that people mess up all the time, like me. So, hey, this is Vivica Von Rosen, Chief Visibility Officer with Vengresso, helping you. Let me do that again. Hey, this is Vivica Von Rosen, Chief Visibility Officer with Vengresso, helping B2B buyers create more quality and qualified conversations. So just a little soundbite, right? And I had to do that like 10 times too. You have to keep it within 10 seconds, but now people can hear your voice. So they can see your face and they can see the movement. Now they can hear your voice. So this very static LinkedIn profile is suddenly turning into this interactive, event that your buyers can really get a better sense of who you are. Then you continue on with that with a headline. So your headline, it's usually title at company. If I'm a CVO at Vengresso, you have no idea what I do. Like no one knows what a Vengresso is. No one knows what a CVO is. It's Chief Visibility Officer. So I'm the Chief Visibility Officer at Vengresso, which is like soup, a race car. I don't know. So instead of having that,
good point,
right?
Good
No one,
point.
and at least in Engage, it kind of like you get an idea. This must be some kind of engagement, but it doesn't really speak to what Engage does. So you want to expand. You get 220 characters. It's not a lot, but you do have an opportunity there to speak to your buyers. Who are they? How do you help them? And then who are you? So if you go to my LinkedIn profile, you see I got a whole bunch of stuff in there in 220 characters. But again, helping B2B sales leaders create more quality and qualified conversations on LinkedIn. And then our taglines: prospect better, sell more. And then we even have our free piece of software on there, flymessage.io. And then we have Vengresso. And then I even have a couple hashtags like hashtag LinkedIn expert and some other stuff, hashtag personal branding. So there's a lot that you can get in that headline. And another ninja trick, if you put in, like instead of putting in Engage, put in engage.com, then whenever LinkedIn sends messages from you to whoever you messaged on LinkedIn, or maybe you shared some content or something, when LinkedIn sends anything from you, they include that picture and your name and your headline, and that .com becomes hyperlinkable. So it's like the only time it's not hyperlinked in the profile. It used to be, it's not anymore. It's not hyperlinked in
the profile. They want to keep you on the platform. So they
want to keep it. Exactly. But I guess they figure if we're going to send an email for you, then we don't care where people go after.
Wow, that's a great tip.
So that's a little ninja trick there. And we're not even below the fold yet. The other thing that people miss out on all the time, and in fact, go to your LinkedIn profile right now, click on contact info. It'll be just to the right of your location.
I'm going to mine. Hang on.
All right, go to your profile.
I've been watching the show though, so I got to get out of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then click on your contact info. You should have up to 3 websites listed, and they should be current. And so a lot of times people have like their last company that they worked for when they built or wherever they worked when they first built their profile for the first time. But you have an opportunity of doing 2 things. Obviously, adding up to 3 websites, landing pages. You can put your calendar link in there if you've got, you use Calendly or Appointly or Schedule Once or any of those tools that are very helpful and handy for setting up appointments. You can put your YouTube channel in there. You can put your, whatever. You got 3 opportunities to put a hyperlink. And here's the ninja trick.
Wait a minute. I have to interrupt you for a second.
Yeah.
On my phone, I don't even see contact info.
Oh, okay. So contact info. Sorry. I should have, let me see. It might be somewhere else on your phone.
On your phone.
Yeah. I think I'm talking browser. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
Because I was talking phone before. You're 100% right.
It's okay. Good to know. I'm all like, oh my gosh, mine's not even on.
Where is it? Yeah, good point. It's not there. And so
that's very
if we
strange.
go to, that is very strange. Okay. So yes, that's good for me to know. And we had a client the other day said it's not there. And I'm like, no, it is to the right of yours. So they were probably on their mobile device. On browser only. Go online, Google yourself on your browser only, and then go into contact info on the browser, and then see if you've got your websites. So the ninja trick here is, to the right of where you actually add the URL, to the right of that, there's a little drop down. And so it's going to say company, personal, blog, blah, blah, blah. The last option is other. Choose other, because then you get 30 characters to describe what that website is. So again, no one knows what a Vengresso is, but if I choose other, then I can type in digital sales transformation. And then next to Vengresso.com, it says digital sales transformation. Next to Calendly.com, it says book time with me. Next to Amazon.com/Vivacus/9644989944321, it says 101 ways to rock LinkedIn, right? So you choose the other in the drop down, and you can actually describe what that website is, because that's one of the few places where people can actually click on a link and be driven to wherever you want to drive them to. So make sure that contact info, which is easier to access through the browser, is customized. So that's another little ninja trick. And then the other thing, to Christopher's point, is they moved the media section up underneath the profile to what's called featured media now. So it used to be kind of one and done. Again, people probably uploaded media the first time they built their profile, if they even did, and they haven't looked at it since. But now you've got this kind of static in that it's always on your LinkedIn profile, but you want to keep adding helpful, useful information, blog posts, podcasts, white sheets, testimonials, case studies, all of these different pieces of media that are great resources for your buyer. Just go to your website. Like, hopefully you've got it all there on your website, and you can add 2 shows up really nicely. 3 turns it into a carousel. 7 thumbnails will show up in the carousel. And then if you add more than 7 pieces of content, it turns into a drop-down list. But that's a great opportunity for you to pull helpful, useful content into your profile. So yeah, if you've got a podcast, if you've got a live show, you want to make sure that you're getting that content in there, and set that expectation and start training people to go back to your profile more and more often. Your profile almost becomes a mini website or a mini sales page that you can kind of train your buyers into going to get information about what they need to know. So again, resource, not resume. And yeah, as a salesperson, I am not expecting you to start your own live stream. Although if you do, you're going to kill it. But I don't expect you to. But I do expect you to go to your website and see what marketing's already created for you, and go through there and see if there's some great pieces of media that your buyers, are going to find useful. And if there's not, then you need to have a conversation with marketing and say, you guys are completely off on who the buyer persona is. Like, you're creating all this great content for entrepreneurs, but we work with B2B salespeople. Or for me, it was the opposite. I had a whole audience of entrepreneurs, but we focused on B2B sales. And so while I made that transformation from entrepreneurship to corporate sales, I had to get my marketing team to create some nice kind of bridge the gap type content that would be useful to both individuals and companies. And so, just work with your marketing team to get that content, and then get that content into that featured section. And then the last thing I'll talk about on your profile, then we can talk about whatever else we want to in the last 10 minutes, is that about section. A lot of people only have 3 lines, and it's usually a resume, right? Like, customer service experience, a professional with 25 years of experience. Like, by that high up in your profile, you haven't earned the right yet to talk about yourself. So you still want to continue to talk about your buyer, and you want them to click on the little read more or see more link, because they're only going to see the first 3 lines. And so you want to say something impactful. You want to grab their attention. We call it a call to read. You want to ask the question that your buyers are always asking, other than how much money is this going to cost me, right? If they're like, I don't know how to launch a digital sales transformation company with my company. How do I do it? So then my question back to them is, hey, are you a B2B sales leader, and your salespeople have to get savvy on how to use LinkedIn and Sales Navigator? No problem. That's what we do. we've helped blah, 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 do blah, 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 and we do blah, 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 blah. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to address my buyer. I'm going to reflect back to him or her their question about their biggest point of pain. And then I'm going to talk about how I can solve that, how my company can solve that. So you always want to get that call to read. It's either a statement, a quote, a statistic, or a question that they're like, oh my God, I want to learn more about this. And then they're going to click on the see more. And now suddenly you've got 2,600 characters where you can develop how you can help them. So
I am taking
that's all
notes
about above the fold.
ravagely. Yes, I'm taking ravage notes over here because these are all things that will make your LinkedIn profile a virtual meet and greet and give
Yeah.
a potential buyer or prospect a true feeling and energy and look at who you are. And
Yeah.
as you talked to earlier, the like, trust, know, it's going to make them feel
Yeah.
like they know you. And
Yes.
therefore, if they're feeling that there's that energy and that they know you and you're
Yeah.
likable, trustable, then they're going to want to
Yeah.
do business with you.
Exactly. Exactly. And then finally, because I know we only have a couple more minutes left. So I want to give the marketers out there or the business owners out there the easiest way for your employees to share your content on your LinkedIn company page. And you have to be an administrator. If you're not, make sure your marketing person makes you an administrator. But on your LinkedIn company page, there is a new feature that allows you to write content. It's called recommend. So you literally go into content down to recommend. It's an employee advocacy tool. You will write the post for your employees. You will add the media. You will add the @mentions. This is the only place where @mentions works as an employee advocacy tool. So you'll @mention relevant individuals or companies, add those hashtags, add those emojis, let the reader know what they're getting into, add the media there. And then when you add it to your LinkedIn profile, it goes into a place, I think it's called recommendations. I have to look at it again. But all your employees have to do is literally click on the share button. And it's not like sharing an article where they have to write all that out. It's literally taking that post as it is written and putting it on their profiles. So
As
you
if
want to give
they've
them,
written it.
and like they've written it. Like
Nice.
now they can edit it. Like, so before they hit share again, they can edit it. So if they want to change it, they can. But all they have to do is click on the share button. And that is way easier than anything else out there. Like, you can invest hundreds or thousands of dollars a month in employee advocacy tool. In fact, we do at Vengresso, because this one feature wasn't out yet. But now you can write and give them options. Don't just do one a day. Do 2 or 3 or 4 posts a day and give them whatever options they want, and then get that content out there, because your company page might have 100 followers, 1,000 followers, even 10,000 followers. But for an example, our company page has like 10,000-ish followers, but our employee networks are in the millions. Between my network, Mario's network, our employees' networks, we have millions of viewers. So do we want to just share content on our company page, or do we want our 40 employees? And that's not a lot. Do we want our 40 employees to go in and share that content by pressing one button? Yes. Plan B, please, because that's going to get a whole lot more visibility for the company. And it's super easy.
It sounds super easy, and I didn't realize that tool was available.
Brand new. It's brand new.
Brand new. And so we've been talking a lot, like I said in the past, about how to boost engagement on your company page. And if you've got this incredible network of employees, like Viveka said, maybe it is only 10 or 100, don't forget that they all have thousands, even tens of thousands in their networks.
Exactly.
So take advantage of that, really spider web effect, and take advantage of all the tools LinkedIn offers to not only build your company page, but really create this LinkedIn kind of network.
And by the way, everything I've talked about today is free. None of this is part of the premium LinkedIn, including the new employee advocacy tool on LinkedIn company pages, which used to be thousands of dollars a month, by the way. Now it's free.
Wow.
Yeah.
So obviously there's been this huge shift. The pandemic, it was shifting already, but the pandemic really, kind of jump started it into crazy fast paced,
Yes.
happenings. But we are seeing that digital marketing, a digital presence, um, tools like Zooming, and even our
Yeah.
platform, right? Our platform gives, for instance, we
Yes.
have our own, streaming system, Jitsi Meet on, through Engage, but also the opportunity. People have so many different choices now, right? And thanks to digital marketing, it's so much easier to see what your competitors are doing. It's so much easier to comparison shop. When customers have endless choices, you have to make it that much more obvious why they need to choose you. And the
Yes.
know, like, trust is a big part of it. And you can
Yeah.
use your LinkedIn profile and all these tools that Vivica shared with us to do that. But then on top of that, work on that customer optimization of their experience when they do
Yeah.
become a client, right? Make it convenient for them to communicate with you. Make sure you're communicating with customers where they are. If they're on the website, have the chat bot, right? Have
Yes.
the chat
Yeah.
box so that they can leave questions or leave their contact information. If they're on Facebook or Instagram, make sure you figure out the buyer persona and where your customer is
Mhm.
going to be. Make sure that you can communicate with them efficiently and consistently on those places too, by streamlining and having all those different places come to one inbox, right?
Yeah.
There's so many different tools that can take you further into creating that optimized experience. So once they're your customer too, they do remain loyal and they do continue to want to work with you,
Exactly.
right? Getting the customer is one thing, right? But maintaining the customer is a whole nother thing. And I think digital marketing makes it easier in some aspects, but also makes it more challenging as well
Yeah,
because
that's what I love about Engage, right? Because what John Jantz was talking about was try, buy, repeat, refer, and Engage lets them try, buy, repeat, refer, refer, refer. I think referrals are so key. So yeah,
absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely. Well, I feel like we really just touched on the tip of today's topic. So I don't know, Vivica, we might need to have you
We
back
might
for
have to
another
come
show.
back.
Well, here, let's share with our audience. Um, let's share with our audience a few different ways that they can connect with you after today's show. So, first and foremost, I want to share how they can connect with you on LinkedIn because
Yeah.
that is where you are known as an expert. So, let's share your handle, and
Yeah.
especially
So
for those of you listening on the podcast.
yeah, it's pretty easy. It's LinkedIn Expert. And in fact, if you just Google LinkedIn Expert after the paid ads, and LinkedIn squeezed me out with an organic post. But after all the paid ads and the organic post, if you Google LinkedIn Expert, my LinkedIn profile should be the first one that shows up. And just let me know. I'm at my 30,000 limit, but just let me know that you heard me on this show today. And I'll for sure, kick somebody out and bring you in.
Love that. She'll make room for one of the
I'll
engaged
make room
fans.
for you. Yeah.
I love that. And also check out Vivica's company page as well and see how she's putting, she's not just talking the talk, she's walking the walk. So check out how she's using some of the tools she shared with us today. And her company name is Vengreso. It's VENGRESO. For those of
And
you
I love
listening
how
on.
you say she. No, it's our marketing team.
Okay, got it. Well,
I used to do all that when I had LinkedIn to business, but yeah, we got a marketing team now. Thank
oh,
you,
but oh,
Chan.
wait a minute. But it is your company that you founded.
It
So
is.
take
It is.
growth mindset.
And we
You are
do
on
all the
board. But yes. So check
we
out
do all
her
the best
check
practices.
out the company page, Vengreso. And then lastly, I'm excited. You want to share with our audience your book and give them a chance
Yeah.
to get a PDF copy of your book.
Yeah. So if you just go to that link, vengreso.com/100 dash ways dash two dash rock dash LinkedIn, or just go to the link. It's way easier. Yeah, you can get a PDF, free PDF version of the whole book, So if you like taking notes and stuff, buy it on Amazon. It's like 10-15 bucks. But if you want it for free, then absolutely just go to the link and we'll give you a free version.
Awesome. And for the podcast listeners, I'll go through that one more time. It's Vengreso, VENGRESO.com/101 ways two rock LinkedIn. You can get a free PDF version of Vivica's book. Take advantage of that. I mean, Vivica is, you know, has been recognized by Forbes, Inc. magazine. She's been on the Social Media Examiner. To have her on our show today, sharing this wealth of information. I mean, she is touted as the LinkedIn expert. So if she's offering her book, take advantage of that. Please connect with her on LinkedIn as well. Let her
Yes.
know you heard her on the Engage podcast. I'm going to keep you around, Vivica, for our
Sure.
Engage news of the week, because I'd love for you to weigh in, because we shared your LinkedIn, but you are on LinkedIn, you are on Facebook, you are on
Yeah.
Instagram. So let's share this week's news of the week, and then I'd love for you to weigh in and tell me what your thoughts are.
Sure.
So, this week's news of the week is great news for content creators, as Facebook plans to pay out $1 billion now through 2022 to users who create content for its Facebook and Instagram social networks.
Wow.
It's one way the company hopes to attract influencers to continue creating content for its platforms as it competes with other competing platforms like TikTok. As part of the initiative, it plans to roll out new bonus programs by the end of the year that will pay creators for hitting specific milestones. The company said it plans to launch dedicated spaces within its Instagram app this summer and the Facebook app this fall, where creators can go to learn what bonuses they can work toward. And among the upcoming bonus programs is a Reels summer bonus program
Wow.
that will launch in the coming weeks and pay US users who create great Reels content for Instagram. And if you're not familiar with Reels, it's a full length, short length video. It's a full screen, short length video feature that was launched on Instagram in 2020 to compete with TikTok.
TikTok. Yeah.
And you can find the Reels at basically it's like a different tab on your LinkedIn. And it'll be posts and then Reels. Reels are fun. You can edit things together, music. It's pretty neat. But what do you think about this whole incentivizing program and what it might do for these platforms and for content creators?
Yeah, as a content creator, I love it because LinkedIn had an influencer program, which uh, you couldn't even. I mean, you could apply for it, but you weren't going to get it. And they were really, I don't know. I wasn't terribly fussy over who they considered to be influencers or not. So I love the idea that Facebook is going to open that up and truly let the influencers be influencers. Let the people who are creating great content get the visibility and paid for it. Like LinkedIn doesn't pay anybody. In fact, when I wrote my first book, which was, and don't buy it, it's so old, but LinkedIn Marketing an Hour a Day. I tried to, and LinkedIn and Wiley were on the same floor at the same office building in San Francisco at the time. I tried to get some quotes and talk to some people at LinkedIn for a book I was essentially writing for them. And they wouldn't even in fact, they were like, "Hey, you better not use our logo." And this was Wiley, world's
Wow.
oldest publishing company. Anyway, I love the fact that social platforms are willing not only to encourage people to create content, but pay them for it. That's really, really cool. I like that. LinkedIn, are
Awesome.
you
Well,
listening?
hey, it's the trend. It's the
Yeah.
trend is live stream. The trend is
Yeah.
content. The trend is becoming an influencer in your niche. Engage, we are producing. We're
Yep.
so thankful for Engage. They are producing this show twice a week, right? They are literally giving us all the tools that we need, or that I need, especially as a host, to bring great guests on like Vivica to really talk about topics that are super relevant in this digital marketing era where things are moving so quickly. But
Yeah.
it's a trend. It's not going away. It's only speeding up and being more like, as you said, it's becoming deeper, and it's becoming like so many choices even for how to attack digital
Yeah.
marketing, create your strategy. So great tools, great guests that we offer on this digital live stream. And we're only going to keep doing it because there's so much to explore and so
Yeah.
much to talk about. So we're so happy that you could join us today, Vivica, and really dive into how to achieve more quality, right?
Yep.
Leads, and how to truly make your LinkedIn profile not just the resume that lives in stone, but how to make it interactive and how to really turn it into a virtual meet
Yeah.
and greet and a virtual almost like a reverse interview, right? Because it's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
clients that are
exactly.
interviewing us,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So awesome.
awesome.
Well, thank you guys so much. Make sure you connect with Vivica on LinkedIn. You can find her. She is the LinkedIn expert on LinkedIn, and her company is called Vengreso, Vengreso. So make sure you connect with her. Tell her you saw her on the Engage live stream or heard her on the Engage podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. I look forward to staying connected with you in the future, and we'll have to have you back for another show.
Sounds good. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
What a wonderful guest, a wonderful dive into how to really get the most out of your LinkedIn profiles so that you can succeed and be a step ahead of your competitors when it comes to virtual selling and taking advantage of the changes that have happened thanks to the crazy pandemic. Guys, I'm Marissa Morgan. I'm your show host. I'm also the business development manager at Engage. If you have questions or topics you'd like to ask the experts for future shows, or you'd like more information about Engage, I'd love for you to connect with me. And you can do that on LinkedIn. I'm the Marissa Morgan on LinkedIn, or you can email me at marissa.m@engage.com. If you missed today's show, or you tuned in a little bit late, or you're just interested to see more shows that we have done, check out our show library. All of our shows live in our live show library. I'll share that link for you now. That is going to be engage.com/live-show-library. That's where you can see all of our past shows. Vivica's show today will join the library tomorrow. And it's a great way to connect with some wonderful influencers in the digital marketing space. So if you haven't yet checked out our live show library, do that. And if you know somebody who would make an excellent guest for our show, please email me at marissa.m@engage.com. We're always looking for new, insightful guests who bring information and insights to our audience in the digital marketing space. You guys, on behalf of myself and the entire team at Engage, I want to thank you for joining us. And I want to invite you to join us for our next show on Tuesday, August 10th at 1 p.m. Eastern. Our guest expert is Rebecca Kramer. And we'll actually be talking specifically about live streaming and how live streaming can help you grow in 2021 and beyond, and what you can do to take advantage of live streaming and all the incredible benefits that it can bring you as a brand or your company, and why, if you're not doing it, you should be. We do it twice a week, every Tuesday, sometimes Wednesday or Thursday, just depends on our guest schedules. But you can find us twice a week at engage.com or on LinkedIn. And let me put up, just for everybody watching, our LinkedIn profile as well. We are a LinkedIn company page, engage.com/my company. Join us there. Give us a follow if you haven't already, because that's where you can find out information about upcoming shows and our guests, and also our show replays as well. On behalf of myself and the entire team, I want to thank you so much for joining us today. Again, if you haven't, make sure you go connect with Vivica Von Rosen. Let her know you caught the podcast or the live stream here at Engage. Thanks again for joining us. Feel free to email me again, marissa.m@engage.com, if you have any questions about our platform or if you have any great show topic ideas. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys all next Tuesday.